We hear it all the time. Love yourself. It's become a repetition, a rallying cry for self-acceptance and empowerment. And it's true, self-love is essential. That's what we're going to explore today. The dark sides of self-love, the part that can lead us down a path of isolation, unrealistic expectations, and stalled personal development. We have to realize that life itself isn't lived in a vacuum. We interact with other people in our environment and therefore need to be cautious how the love for oneself does not cause bigger problems for us. Here are 7 dangerous situations our self-love could lead to if we are not watchful. Number 1, narcissism. It's a word we throw around a lot, often casually. But true narcissism is more than just self-centeredness. It's a deep-seated belief that you are superior to others. In the context of self-love, narcissism twists the narrative. Instead of embracing our imperfections and vulnerabilities, we become fixated on maintaining a flawless image, even at the expense of others. This can be incredibly damaging to our relationships. Narcissism breeds self-glorification, not connection. It creates a wall between us and the world. And it's not just romantic relationships that suffer. Narcissistic tendencies can poison friendships, family dynamics, and even professional collaborations. We become so focused on our own success, our own brilliance, that we fail to see the value in others, to learn from them, to grow alongside them. This creates a toxic environment, one that ultimately stifles our own potential. Number 2 is a world of isolation. We are wired for connection. It's in our DNA. We crave belonging, intimacy, the shared experience of being human. But when self-love becomes distorted, it can lead us down a path of isolation. We retreat into ourselves, convinced that we are better off alone, that others simply don't understand us. This isolation is a slow burn. We lose sight of the fact that true self-love is not about building walls, but about building bridges. It's about recognizing our worthiness while acknowledging the worthiness of others. The irony is that this isolation, born from a desire for self-protection, ultimately makes us more vulnerable. We deprive ourselves of the support, the love, the connection that sustains us. We become islands, adrift in a sea of our own making. And in that isolation, we become fertile ground for shame, for self-doubt, for all the things we thought we were protecting ourselves from by pushing others away. Number 3, one of the most dangerous side effects when self-love becomes toxic is the development of unrealistic expectations. We begin to believe that we are entitled to a perfect life, a perfect partner, a perfect career, without considering the general realities of our environment and life. This sets us up for disappointment and frustration. For example, you say to yourself, I am the most gifted. I therefore deserve more rewards in life than others. This is the toxic self-love talking, whispering in your ear that you deserve more, that you deserve better, without acknowledging the reality that true fulfillment comes from embracing the journey, not just the destination. Setting realistic goals is crucial. It's about acknowledging our strengths while recognizing our limitations. It's about understanding that growth is a process, not an event. And it's about letting go of the need for perfection, for control, for a masked version of reality. Really, true self-love allows us to embrace the imperfections, the stumbles, the setbacks, knowing that they are part of the journey, part of what makes us human. Number 4, we are meant to evolve. We are meant to learn, to grow, to expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. But toxic self-love can trap us in a cycle of stagnation. We become so focused on protecting our ego, on maintaining our carefully constructed image, that we resist anything that might challenge our worldview. This resistance to growth can manifest in many ways. We might avoid feedback, dismissing constructive criticism as an attack on our character. We might surround ourselves with people who only tell us what we want to hear, creating an echo chamber of affirmation that prevents us from seeing our blind spots. And we might shy away from new experiences, new relationships, new challenges, because they threaten to disrupt the fragile equilibrium we've created. This stagnation is the antithesis of self-love. True self-love is about nurturing our potential, about pushing ourselves to grow, to learn, to become the best versions of ourselves. It's about embracing the discomfort of vulnerability, the messiness of trying and failing and trying again. It's about understanding that growth is not a linear process, that it's full of twists and turns, of setbacks and breakthroughs, And it's about trusting ourselves enough to know that we can handle the bumps in the road, that we can emerge from the challenges stronger and wiser. Number 5, none of us are perfect. We all have flaws, weaknesses, blind spots, and that's okay. In fact, it's what makes us human, what makes us unique. But when self-love turns toxic, it can blind us to our own faults. We become so invested in maintaining a perfect image that we refuse to acknowledge any areas where we might need to grow, to change, to do better. This blindness to our own faults can be incredibly damaging. It prevents us from taking responsibility for our actions, from learning from our mistakes, from becoming more compassionate and understanding individuals. It creates a disconnect between how we see ourselves and how we are perceived by others, leading to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and fractured relationships. Self-awareness is crucial. It's about being honest with ourselves, about our strengths and weaknesses, about our patterns of behavior, about the impact we have on others. And it's about being open to feedback, to constructive criticism, even when it's difficult to hear. True self-love requires us to embrace our imperfections, to acknowledge our shadows, to be willing to do the work of self-reflection and personal growth. Number 6, relationships are a two-way street. They require empathy, understanding, a willingness to see the world from another person's perspective. But when self-love becomes distorted, it can create an imbalance in our relationships. We become so focused on our own needs, our own desires, that we lose sight of the needs of others. This can manifest in many ways. We might become overly critical of our partners, friends, or family members, failing to see their strengths and focusing only on their flaws. We become less tolerant and complain all the time. We might become emotionally unavailable, withdrawing from intimacy and connection because we're too consumed by our own internal world. In a business, we just want our success without bothering if people who are stakeholders lose their life or happiness in the process. And we might struggle to offer support and compassion because we're too busy tending to our own wounds. All healthy relationships require a delicate balance between self-love and empathy. We need to be able to love and care for ourselves while also being able to love and care for others. We need to be able to assert our own needs while also being able to respect the needs of those around us. And we need to be able to be vulnerable and open with others, while also being able to offer them the same level of vulnerability and openness in return. Number 8. Number 7. Life is unpredictable. It's full of twists and turns, of unexpected challenges and opportunities. To navigate this ever-changing landscape, we need to be flexible, adaptable, open to new experiences and new ways of thinking. But toxic self-love can make us rigid, inflexible, resistant to anything that might disrupt our carefully curated world. This inflexibility can manifest in many ways. We might cling to rigid routines and rituals, fearing that any deviation will throw us off balance. We might resist new ideas and perspectives, dismissing anything that challenges our worldview as wrong or irrelevant. And we might struggle to adapt to change, becoming anxious and overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan. True self-love encourages flexibility. It allows us to embrace the unknown, to be open to new experiences, to learn and grow from the challenges that life throws our way. It allows us to let go of the need for control, to trust that we can handle whatever comes our way. And it allows us to see the beauty in the unexpected, to find joy in the journey, not just the destination. The dark side of self-love is a reminder that even the most positive intentions can go awry. It's a call to examine our own hearts, to look for the places where self-love has transformed into self-protection, isolation, and stagnation. Authentic self-love is not about perfection or invulnerability. It's about embracing our whole selves, the light and the shadow, the strengths and the weaknesses. It's about recognizing our worthiness while acknowledging the worthiness of others. It's about understanding that we are enough, just as we are, while also striving to grow and evolve. And it's about connecting with others from a place of vulnerability, authenticity, and empathy. This is the path to true fulfillment, to meaningful connection, to a life lived with courage and wholeheartedness. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel for more engaging topics like these. Join the family of those who desire great wisdom as we engage with life and its numerous circumstances every day. Thank you for listening.